Since we last caught up with Northstar Clean Technologies, the company has made tremendous progress. Northstar, you may recall, repurposes roofing shingles through a proprietary design process it calls bitumen extraction and separation technology, or BEST. The company extracts the liquid asphalt for use in new hot mixed asphalt, shingle manufacturing, asphalt flat roof systems, and aggregate and fiber for usage in construction projects and other industrial applications. In recent days, the company has received two important orders for the pilot plant in BC and for the scale-up plant in Calgary, and secured $43.5 million in financing. Let's talk now again to Northstar CEO Aidan Mills about these new developments. Aidan, good to see you again. How are you, sir?
Good, sir. How are you?
Very well. All right. Can you tell us, you just had two new orders, right? Tell us about how these new orders came about.
Sure. So I think as we chatted before, we had started the Delta pilot plant running in Q1 this year. And, as we said, that was, to do kind of two or three things. So number one, start the operation, of course. Number two, provide samples so that could go out to our customers. And number three, de-risk the technology that we're using to produce the asphalt, the aggregate, and the fiber for the scale-up facility in Calgary. So the culmination of this has been in the last couple of weeks, which has been fantastic. And that has been the sale of the asphalt for two contracts. So the first contract, and so look, backing up a little bit, all through Q1 and Q2, we've been sending, the asphalt, the aggregate, to buyers in the three sectors that we're targeting. So we're targeting the paving sector, we're targeting the shingle sector, of course, for the asphalt tiles come off the roofs. So that is kind of completely circular into the shingle sector. And we're also targeting the kind of flat roof manufacturing sector because, as you know, they also use asphalt on the flat roofs. And so these two contracts are in those sectors. So the first one is a contract out of Delta. That's for 80 tons. And this was a major North American flat roof manufacturer who had already tested our product. So we had been sending them samples, they've been testing it, and they were like, actually, we think this works. So what we'd like to do is do a manufacturing test and actually manufacture some of our products. The volume that they need for that is about 80 tons, and so that's going to come out of the plant in Delta. So that's and we hope that will go into a long-term offtake agreement, essentially potentially for any one of our facilities that could be close to them. So as I kind of think about it, that's a tick for the flat roof manufacturing sector. The second one is probably the bigger one, and that is the offtake from the facility in Calgary. So we'll talk about the facilities in a little while, but that is 100% of the asphalt we produce in Calgary offtake for the next 5 years. And that's done with McAsphalt, who, as you know, are a division of Colas. So they're the $3.8 billion euro company, Colas, based in Paris, and a phenomenal understanding of the asphalt business globally.
Interesting deals there. Aidan, the plans for expansion at several facilities, can you talk about those locations and when you expect to bring those up and running?
Sure. So I think, like Richard, as we've talked about, the importance of the pilot plant. So one of the first things to do is to take the pilot plant into commercial production. Like, we think in the Delta facility, that's probably about 50 to 75 tons a day, and the plan for that is the back of the year and kind of into Q1. And that will take that pilot plant once we've done all the de-risking of the Calgary of the Calgary design and testing of the equipment. That will be about 50 to 75 tons a day. And then phase one of the three plants that are scale-up facilities, so the commercial scale, number one is Calgary, number two is Toronto, and the third one is likely to be our first US plant, in the Pacific Northwest. Calgary, we're already ordering the long lead items for Calgary. Detailed design kicks off in Q1. and we expect to be commissioning it like probably about this time next year. We've already selected the land. We are finalizing the lease, and then from a feedstock perspective, we hope to be collecting shingles for that facility in the middle of next year, and that kind of ties Calgary up in a bit of a bow. Then in the second half of next year, we would develop Toronto and Pacific Northwest. Likely kind of offtake agreements in the first half of the year, second half of the year, looking at the land, and kind of very similar to Calgary, whereby we'll likely order the long lead items in Q4 and then have those running approximately by the end of 2024. So all three facilities. And importantly, of course, is the feedback of Calgary's the first facility. That's the big step from the pilot plant. So feeding forward how Calgary performs and commissions up into Toronto and Pacific Northwest is why we're not doing them closer, but doing one next year and two in 2024.
Aidan, you've secured $43.5 million in financing. So is that going to be enough to execute on these, ambitious plans that you got?
Well, look, I think the way to kind of step back is kind of let me describe quickly how it's structured. So of the $43.5 million, and so to be fair, we've signed the binding term sheet for that. We're negotiating detailed contracts, so that will likely close in the middle of November. But of that 43.5, 36 million is the debt for each one of the facilities. So to pay for the capital for each one of the facilities, and each one, as you know, when we came out with the front end engineering design study, capital of about 12 million per facility, about 10 million of capital and 20% of contingency. And so the 36 million is kind of the 3 times 12 for each one of the facilities. So in theory, tick the capital for that is done. Then the remaining 7.5 million is security for Northstar, and that's for it's for capital spend, it's for our equity in the deals, etc., etc. It's for running the business and helping us accelerate both Toronto and Pacific Northwest. That 7.5 is about 2.7 million of equity. We've already received 750,000 of that, with 1.9 odd to come, and that was at 40 cents a share. We've got $4.8 million worth of debentures. Those are secured. They're at 6% interest rate, and they're at 50 cents a share. And then the last part, which isn't included in the 7.5, is the warrants that we granted our partner Renewable U. So there's about 4.5 million warrants, so about $2.7 million worth. And those are at 60 cents a share. And this deal's been done with Renewable U, who are an Alberta-based private company, who are very supportive of exactly the stage that we are at in our development, whereby we've got a green technology that is literally taking its first steps, and that fits very well with their investment strategy, and a great partner for us to have moving forward.
Good stuff. Now, you're based in Calgary. Tell us what all this means for the city of Calgary, Aidan.
Well, look, for Calgary, we think it's a tremendous opportunity. We think, this is where we're going to build our first scale-up facility that literally will be the prototype for what's, rolled out across North America. For Calgary itself, we'll be able to divert 40,000 tons per year of shingles away from landfill. We'll be able to produce about 20,000 tons a year of aggregate, 10,000 tons a year of asphalt, as we talked about with the offtake and the sales agreement, and 10,000 tons of fiber. And our objective is to send nothing back to landfill and enable that 100% kind of circular economy solution. So what it means is, if you're a homeowner in Calgary next year and you're thinking about getting your re-roofing, then ask your contractor to make sure that they're talking to us and not to the landfill. And if you're a contractor, either have a look at our website at northstarcleantechnology.com, or for our Calgary website, it'll be empowerenvironmental.com, and you can follow the links to the Calgary facility. It'll tell you where we are, where the location is, the contact number, etc. And Richard, we want Calgary shingles. That's what we want to do next year.
And I hope you get them. Aidan, a great business here when it comes to sustainability, a business on the grow. Northstar Clean Technologies, ticker roof on the venture. CEO Aidan Mills, good to see you again, Aidan.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for the chat.
See you soon.